Hey guys, it's me again, Orxler What Ifs. Last time I'm doing another new Deku What If. Sorry if some of you want me to continue it. Some people said a guy said they would like me to continue creating new content. Clarify some things. I've never seen Inuyasha. I tried getting into it a long time ago, but I just never could. I'm thinking about going back and rewatching it, or trying to rewatch it and see if I can get into it. And also, I've never seen Black Clover, and I have not watched Demon Slayer. So, yeah. Just letting you all know that. Now, to continue on, this will be what if Deku was safi'jiiva. If you don't know what safi'jiiva is, it's also another monster from Monster Hunter Worlds. If you were here from my first what if, which I think some of you are, you know that they're monsters and such. How I'll be playing this is that there are, instead of just the wyverns and such, there are just legitimate dragons. To clarify, I will actually be trying to pull in dragons from different video games and such. So, just let you guys know about that. Now, where we're starting off is that it's not really that much discrimination against the dragons as it was with the wyverns and such. It would all depend on where you are in mythology and such. So in Japan, they're treated like gods. A lot of them are. In other places, they're treated as savage beasts. In other places, they're like more honorable creatures. And if I put the picture up, you'll see it. So we'll start where Deku is born. He comes out all scaly and such. He's in his second degree, or the first degree mode, where it's just scaly and has the tails and such, and some features of a dragon. Next part is, they all freak out for like a solid minute, like, oh my god, it has scales, what is this? She's right there like, what? And Inko's like, why? Then they look into their history to find that one of their, great-grandfathers, great-great-grandfathers and such, I don't know how many generations that is. Great. I'll go great-great-grandfathers and such on Hizashi's side were ones that were actually one of the dragon types. So as they're going on along with their days, as Deku gets older and older and such, well, he meets Bakugo and them, and they tell, and it's difficult. Not like I said, no one really cares that there's things such as dragons. They think they're cool and such, and that they're very powerful. But as I continue forward, Deku has his normal school life until he gets to about 5 years old, where Bakugo, and I'll say it's like with the Monster Hunter World, where a majority of quirk users are female. Bakugo tries to bully this little girl. Deku tells her to stop it and that there's no reason to. And as she starts getting annoyed, as she gets annoyed and tries to blast Deku, he just goes, first degree transformation, and just shields himself from the blasting using his scales and such. He kind of intimidates her by, his teeth becoming sharper and his eyes becoming a deep, piercing yellow. I forget what the color of these, safi'jiiva. Deep, piercing yellow. As that continues forward, he helps this little girl up. It happens to be Momo Yaoyorozu, I think is her name. They play together for a little bit. She likes saying he's like the dragon from the fairy tales and such. As Deku continues on with this, stop trying to yawn. As Deku continues on with this, they play together for a while. She thanking him, and when the mother and father's bodyguard or nanny comes over and sees Deku, she kind of gets worried. Inko comes over. Is there a problem? Yeah, sorry, it's just that I got kind of scared for a second thinking he was gonna hurt her. Why? Well, I just didn't know, I didn't know if she agitated him or something. Momo's like, no, actually quite the opposite. He actually helped me with a bully. And Inko's like, was it Katsuki? He's like, yeah. As that happens, she's like, I'm gonna have to talk with her mother about this. Again, and I'm sorry, we'll try to help the girl sort it out. Deku waves goodbye to her, and they go off. Them having a discussion, and Deku, like, sort of talking with Katsuki about this. Katsuki gets angry and just blasts Deku a bit. He's like, I'm immune to it, stop it! Like, Inko and, dang it, I forgot his mother name. Mama Bakugo, whatever. As they continue on, Mitsuki, there we go. I think that's her name, Mitsuki, or something like that. As they continue forward, still trying to yawn. As they continue forward, Deku and them, I almost said Bell. Deku and them, like after same amount of years, going back and forth. Deku starts having this yearning to be out in the open. And soon Deku hears that his parents on his mother's side have fallen ill, and they need help and such in a little village where they have like farms and such. His mother decides for him, and he's around 10 at this point. He's saying goodbye to Katsuki, and he actually hangs out with Momo quite a few times. Been at one point being invited to come over and play with her at her nice little mansion house thing. As he's like leaving, he tells them everyone at school is pretty sad. Deku's like this cool kid that helps everyone. He's portrayed as like some of the other dragons in mythology and such. I know I looked some of this up a while ago, but I can't remember the names of any of them right now because they're really confusing. As they continue forward, he gets out into the country, and he continues to help his grandparents and such with problems. Like, their declining health and everything. Like, Deku didn't want to move, but he understood that he needs to help his grandparents and such. Even though he doesn't really know them, his mother does, and whatever his mother wants, he must accomplish. As he continues forward and such, Deku and Inko arrive at their taking a bus ride. Stop trying to yawn. As they continue forward, Deku finally meets his grandparents and talks with them a bit. They sing, oh, how it's so cool, and they describe how Deku is like the dragon and such, and they say, oh, has he ever gone into like full transformation? Like, they like describing no, that she doesn't know what would happen. So they're saying, whoa, there's an open space back there, let's go see. So as Deku's just like out there, he like pushes transformation, like the second degree, he like rips his shirt kind of. And goes like, oh, well, that wasn't a good shirt. Oh well. As he's like, alright, keep going. And then as he gets to second and fourth degree, like second degree, he's just more dragon-like and such. He has a tail and some wings. And he has like his snout has sharp protrude and he has the horns. Now with the third degree, his legs have become bent, sort of, like that weird little bent in a leg. As he's like standing very tall up, he's like taller than All Might at this. He's about taller than his parents, which I think Inko is about the size. Inko put together is like 2 All Mights. I think that's it at least. He's about over half the size of Inko. Not over half the size, dig it. He's about as tall as Inko. At this state, with how young he is, he's about half a little bit taller than Inko. Then as he pushes it to the final transformation, he could essentially be mounted as a horse. As he stands there, sort of flapping his wings and shaking his tail, Belle feels this urge to just, as they're near a cliff or something, Belle's just walking around a bit. Not Belle, Deku's walking around a bit. Wow. He's this is so weird. Because going from walking on 2 legs must be difficult than 4 legs. So as he's walking weirdly around for a bit, then he gets the hang of it. Using his tail to counterbalance so to make sure he doesn't fall over, getting it all figured out. Then he has this yearning to try and fly. Inko of them turn around for a bit, discussing amongst themselves. I never thought Deku could do that. That was so cool. Then Deku sees it. A cliff. A sheer drop. Deku walking over for a little bit, looking down it, taking a couple steps back. As the grandmother sees this, Deku gets ready and then charges forward. Wait, don't do that, you idiot! As he jumps off, and he's just free falling for a moment. His wings are outspread. He's diving straight down. Inko's freaking out my baby! As it's just he has his eyes closed and everything, just trusting in his instincts. As he's falling down, it's slow motion for him. Then as he opens his eyes, he goes straight up, doing twirls and such in the air. It's very majestic as he's just flying around he's going in circles and everything. As he continues forward and such, Inko almost had a heart attack. She's oh my god. His grandparents almost had a heart attack. They're sick. They shouldn't even be up. They were just really interested in seeing what he would do. I was alright, we should probably go lay down for a bit. Coughing up a bit, saying that they need to get back. As he, decide to return back inside the house, Inko's be inside in about an hour. He's okay, Mom. As he's just flying and twirling in the air. Eventually he gets tired enough to where he just lands. It's been over an hour and a half, but he's it should be fine. As he returns, when he... stop trying to yawn! Oh, I'm trying to think, could I bring her in here? Hey, give me a second real quick, I'll be right. And I'm back. Yeah, I remembered something. Yep. So as they continue forward, Belle just helps his mother and such around the day. He's actually pretty sweaty, as I don't know if would dragons sweat? Is it physical exercise, or is it just something they do out of enjoyment, going for a run? He's actually kind of tired from going to fly around for an hour straight. As he was flying around, he even went over the entire village, or town, little village, yeah. As he flies over, several of them saw him pointing up to him. And one of the mothers saw him, and the daughter was looking up too. As she was looking up, he sees him flying over the village a little bit. Then as they all see, his parents live on top of the hill and such, which just makes it worse for them. So with their aging, such they have to go up and down the hill multiple times a day. So as they see Inko call for him to get back here, he turns his head and just he flies away and such to his mother. As he lands, it's not the best landing, but it's a pretty decent one for just landing. He's he even tumbles a little bit, and he's so excited, and he's jumping for joy. She's alright, get inside. Got you fresh new thing of clothes on. Go put it on. As he just gets into the house and such, As he's walking, he's like just squeezes into the house. He doesn't think about it, he like moves into the house in his dragon form. He's like already comfortable in it, like he feels like this is who he is, like who he truly is. So as he's walking around and such, he gets into the room and begrudgingly changes back into his human form. As he puts on his clothes and everything, he helps his mother around with setting up the table, bringing his grandparents food and such, and everything. Now with their farm and such, they're pretty good. They just need some nursemaid, like, I forget what they're called, nurses, or whatever. But Inko's smart enough and such, and I'll say she was going to become a nurse. So, yeah, suck it. Oh, my knuckles. Hizashi comes by every couple of months to like try and assist his family and such. But since they aren't actually having to pay for an apartment or anything anymore, they're actually relatively well and such. And within the weeks, like, a mother comes, like, asking, like, coming check on Deku's grandparents and such. As he's just helping around the table and such, like, cleaning up, sweeping and such, and talking with his grandparents a bit. Like, because the grandfather wants to talk to Belle about certain things, like, sort of just being a teasing grandfather and such. As Belle's like, Deku's like, stop it. He's like, oh, what, you little bugger? And just like, rubs his hand, and just like, gives like, Deku like, a little noogie. He's like, stop it. As Inko's like, hello? And she's like, hey, are you, Mr. and Mrs. Midoriya's daughter? Yeah. Was that your son yesterday, flying around, a couple of days ago? She's like, yes. Sorry about that. He's a dragon. He gets really excited and such. Like, I'll let him go out for an hour or so every day to like go fly and such. It helps him get his energy out, and he feels much better out here than he did in the city. So I think this was a really good thing, you know? It's like, yeah, I see. So, she was talking about, hey, would you mind if my daughter came and played over with your son for a little bit? She's also a dragon. Some of the kids are not alienating her, but she doesn't really fit in. You know what I mean? She's like, yeah, I see. So, is she, like, shy, a hothead, or... Nah, she just doesn't seem to socialize and such. So as Belle's like gets done like helping with his with his grandparents and such, he walks over saying, hey mom, I finished my thing, I'm gonna go fly for a little bit. She's like, okay, wait, you actually got a friend here. He's like, wait, what? No, in his mind he's like cursing, no, my flying time, I want to go fly, I don't want to be here. She's like, this is, what's her name? Saphira. Yes, this is Saphira, and she's also a dragon. Belle gets excited at this, because dragons are, when it comes to it, there's probably around only 5% of the world's population that are dragons. Seems reasonable. Maybe even 10% are dragons. The rest are quirk users, and as well as, I forget what it is. As well as the quirkless. There we go. Which is kind of stupid. I would actually be awesome. The final quirkless man to die. Here we are today. The final quirkless man alive has died. He lived a life full of turmoil and strife. But even then, to the end, he made it. Becoming one of the most loved men in history. Next to Gandhi, Jesus, and someone else, and the Bob Ross, and Mr. Rogers. Some of the nicest men that the world will ever see. He's in the world's Hall of Fame for nice people. May God rest his soul. As it's like tear sheds down the reporter's eye. But as I continue forward, Bellin like gets kind of excited at the prospect that he may actually have a dragon friend. So he actually asks her a bit like, has she transformed or anything? like getting really excited. She says she never really has. And that's what the mother explains, is that she thought he could help her with some of the things like that. Well, And Bell at this point, I believe I said he was a 8 or 10. 8 or 10. And he does actually keep in contact with Katsuki, like writing letters and such to Momo and Katsuki and such. Even writing to them that he made a friend and her name is Safi'jiiva. They take issue with the note, her name. For instance, Katsuki's like, oh, he's dead. Momo's like, wait. He just said her name and a friend. Ah, she's already been friend-zoned. They may be 10. But still. As they continue on with it, Deku and her, like, hang out, like, every day. For, like, the entire years, he's there. And, like, 1 year into it, like, as they're, like, playing and such, and have become actually really good friends. Same thing with Safi'jiiva's mother and such. And one day, Deku's just like, after they had fun playing for like an hour or so, Safi'jiiva's mother comes and gets her. She's like, bye. And Deku says, well, he's gonna go fly for a bit. It'd be nice. So he's about 11. As he gets up and like goes to the back and just flies. And I'll say this time, Inko has ordered him something that he could wear so that way he doesn't tear up all his clothes. As he like puts it on, he's like, it feels so weird. It's just like a pair of trunks and such, like it was supposed to be. And it's supposed to be like absorbent and such, meaning like they don't really see it, it's just there, sort of thing. So as they like get ready, as he like transforms, and since he's actually older now, he's grown a little bit bigger. So his dragon form's also quite a bit bigger. So as he's up there, and I'll say this, he can control the size of his dragon form. Like, not now, but he has like a max he can go to for the moment, and then there's also a max. Well, and then he can like go really tiny if you want to. So it could just be like a house cat and such. Like the size of a large dog. That sort of stuff. So as he's like ready and he goes to the cliff again, taking a deep breath, then just like letting himself fall. Just like as he falls down. He's also going to school here. There's a little school. As he like falls down, and people like wait there for every certain time of day. They wait there just to see what he does. And he's just falling, and it's just again that, and then as he like rips his eyes open and just like flies off. He goes for miles around and such, so yeah. Flying over the fields and everything. And flying over the mountains even at some point when he has enough energy. And he really wants to push it. He's just flying and flying. And he's about, if he was standing up on his hind legs, he'd be about the size of 2 All Mights. Yeah. Well, about 1.5 All Mights if he was standing up. On his hind legs and everything. That's also including if his tail and such, but I digress. As he's just flying over the mountain, shots ring out. They see that, and Deku doesn't know what it's from, but he can tell he is bleeding. He's like, ah. Yes, he's 11 years old and he's been shot. He looks around to see where it came from, but he can't. Then just another shot started. He just like manages to just barely dodge one going straight for his head. He decides to take evasive maneuvers. He dives straight down and just do twirls and flips and tricks to try and get away from this madman shooting at him, going in between the trees even at one point. But then he's shot by like a bola system, like, and just latches onto him. As he crashes down, he's trying to free himself. Like, his head's out, but his like wings and legs are like trapped up. So as he's like gnawing and like trying to rip out at these things, a group of men wearing weird outfits and such just come for him. He's like, "Back him and tag him, boys!" As they like try to like come and take him, Bell just shoots and Bell did not know this. He just shoots a beam of pure energy, just, and it cuts straight through some of the guys. Bell like able to get the rest of the stuff off, and he, having like a little rage fest, goes over, picks one guy's up, like biting him, shakes him about, and throws his body. As they come in, several quirk users come in and try to overpower him. Bell's pure strength and use of his energy beams are cutting down trees and uprooting them. One guy manages to get a lucky shot in, and his head is just cracked. He falls down, like, he's like trying to shake off his like concussion or whatever. As he's shaking it off, he manages to bite the dude in the arm and rip it off. He freaks out, then comes over and smashes him again in the head. As he like tries to claw away, he like manages to get up a little bit, getting closer and closer. People at the village could see what happened. It's like seeing him try to struggle. Then they see what happened. They see a ball catching him in the wings, causing him to fall down. As they see like a helicopter and such moving in as well, they're thinking, what the heck is going on? All the villagers and some of the like policemen, all the villagers have guns. America. As they all like come rushing out with shotguns and rifles. Note, I do not know any form of gun laws in Japan or anything. I don't know the laws about guns in Japan, but I think they're relatively similar to America's, but I'm not entirely sure. But as I continue forward, Bell, all of them are like rushing out. By this time, his family's gotten better, but Inko and Deku have just sort of settled in, like too comfortable to move away and such. As like they get there, like Bell's like been loaded up in a van and such, loaded up in like one of those like helicopter things, and he's just being taken away. As he even like at one point tries to fire beams and such, but he just like gets muzzled. He's been sedated with several tranquilizers and everything. Bell is just hauled away to an unknown place. At that point, Inko's like freaking out. They call to police and everything. They're like, "My baby was taken. What are we gonna do?" At that point, the police do have a suspect. There is a group of people going around taking up these like dragons. But since dragons are so rare and such, they don't know what to do and how to track them. All they can hope is that they'll try to find what the van and such look for. At this point, several heroes and such have been able to find the van. The van is still driving. The helicopter is evacuated. Like, they're like looking around in the skies, but they just don't see it. Bell's eventually landed just on an island, or in like a facility. He's all chained to the ground and everything. Like, trying to get out. And, like I said, he's like 11. I'll say he's 11, yeah, almost 12. As he's like kept into this facility, he's freaking out. He don't know what to do. And the scientists of this facility are trying to find out the whole reason for what dragons exactly Bell's species are. Because they don't register on the thing of them having a quirk They think this is something entirely different, so they're trying to find out the reason. So they roughly have 30 people, like dragons and such here. And that's all over the Japan, from like ages like 10 to like 25. Usually when the dragons are born and such, there's just a large majority of families and such that have a lot of dragons born that year. Just go on with it. So I'm thinking been kidnapped. They're all trying to get out. Several of them, some of them are hooligans, some of them are not, etc., 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 etc. As Belle and them are like freaking out and such, Mel's like, why? Not Belle. Some of them are like screaming, why are they doing this? For science. You all are completely unknown to the environment. We cannot find any reason for your powers to be the way they are. At least not yet. The government has forbid us from exploring too deeply into your biology for the risk of your lives. We do this for science. And if some of you may die, so be it. These are like very evil guys who are just pricks. As Belle and them continue forward, stretching, that feels good. As they continue forward, Belle is freaking out since he's just like a child at this point. He's like, it's over the length, and he just has multiple experiments. They cut him open, take some of his DNA, even some bone marrow and such at one point. Like spinal bone marrow and such, they like have to take that out. Even at one point having them fight to the death. Like Deku's taken out and another kid's taken out. They're saying, Deku's saying that they don't have to do this, but this delinquent wants to get out of here, and he's been told that if he cooperates, that he might be able to go out. So, as they say, kill the kid. As he comes charging in at Deku, he's just gone third degree. And he comes swinging at Deku and such, gnashing and clawing and biting, and even breathing some fire and such. Deku finally just realizes he can't get through to him and such, so he decides that it's time he does it. As he transforms to third degree as well, my eyes, he's bigger than the dude. As Deku's like towering over him, he picks him up and throws him against the wall and such, and just smashes him into the ground. At this point, he actually charges up an energy beam at the glass and goes blasting away, actually causing the glass to superheat and to just shatter in the people's faces. As he goes into a smaller degree, he goes one by one, freeing everyone. They busting their way out of the facility. Deku's ramming through walls, and it's been well over like 2 years he's been here. Several horrible experiments have been done on him. So he's kind of hardened. He's 13 and such. So as he's busting through these things, he tears out like doors and such. He's leading the charge, using his specialized energy blast and such to just melt through doorways and such. And eventually they manage to get like they don't have any collars or anything on to keep them in check, because why would they? They never thought they'd escape. As they continue forward, Belle and all of them are just crushing and tearing everyone that comes in their way like limb from limb. This is kind of graphic for the first episode, but deal with it. As Belle finishes off like the final guy in their way, this isn't the only facility around the world. This is just the one that's in Japan. They instantly just bust through, and it's into like a very highly specialized lab tech and such, like a pharmaceuticals company or whatever, similar to Anjin. As they bust through, and such, sorry, I just had a mind fart real quick. As they just bust through the doors and such, everyone's freaking out, claiming that several dragons are going on a rampage as they're tearing up this building and such. As they all get out, several of them are subdued by heroes like All Might, Midnight, Ryuko. Ryu, I believe is her name. Ryuko or something. And they're all just, and even Mountain Lady, Kamui Woods, Death Arms, and such. Until the biggest one, which is Deku at the moment, gets out, climbs up, and just flies off. Like, just flying off to the closest way to get out of there. Several of them try to stop them, but with 29 other dragons trying to literally kill them, Deku is able to just get away. And over a grueling... Like, he can cover a lot of distance in a short time, so within, like, 6 hours, he remembers the place where they call it. It's like, Takuya Village. I just made up a random word. I wouldn't be surprised if that's actually a place. As he, like, gets there, some of them are saying, hey, there's something over there. Inko kinda got depressed. Saphira and such got depressed. A lot of people got depressed after Deku sort of just got kidnapped. As they, what's that? And they see it's like coming over the mountains. As he lands into his grandparents' backyard and such, Inko comes rushing out, seeing that it's Deku, and tears in her eyes. She comes and just jumps on his, like, grabs his neck. She's about the size of his neck and such at this point. She, like, gives him, like, a big hug in the neck, and he's like, stop it. You're embarrassing me. As he just, like, sort of grows smaller to, like, his second degree and just hugs her. He's like, I would change out, but I don't have any clothes. As he just comes down and sits down, getting something to eat and just drinking a soda or something. He's just like, this was hectic. Saphira busting in and just, like, coming and, like, tackling him. Like, oh, hey, Saphira, and he's like, oh! She's grown quite tall as well for their age and such, since she is a dragon and such. And she has actually, later on, has worked on her transformation and such. So Bill will be able to see that, and it'll be cool. So as he's, like, hugging her too, she's crying. Inko told the grandparents and such, and called Tazashi, like, he's back, baby, he's back. Yes. And even Momo and all of them, like, and Katsuki actually saw on television, because one day it's just like, here at this pharmaceuticals company, they were just bored watching it. Then out and over, the doors bust open, several dragons come rushing out. And when the reporters, like, are in the thick of it, they see something coming slowly out of the thing. Just one giant hand that's about not the size of a car, about the size of a person, and just comes tumbling out of there as it just, like, breaks through the thing. They recognizing the scale, sort of, and they're like, oh my god, he's alive. As he just lets out a roar and just flies off. Some of the heroes trying to stop him, but with several dragons intercepting them. As he just flies off. He's massive compared to the other ones. And Inko did get depressed and such, so she did get small and fat. And when I said she's about the size of his neck, two of her are about the size of his neck. So as he just, like, takes it easy for a while and everything. That will be the end of that. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a nice day, nice night, nice life.